I hardly opened my mouth my freshman year. I was scared I would say something weird and not even know I'd done it. I would only speak if I were absolutely certain that what I had to say would be socially acceptable. I gauged this based on some rules I'd learned at the social skills class my parents made me go to. For instance, only engage in expected behaviors, never unexpected ones. And it is important to interpret body language and use eye contact. Channel the flexible superhero Superflex and avoid being like the inflexible bad guy, Rock Brain. I could go on, but the important thing is that these rules did not make socializing very fun. I avoided Friday afternoons in the basement of Boloco and conversations on Gmail chat when we all went home. But the alternative, homework, was not much better. I forced myself to annotate each page until it was smothered in tiny pen markings, as the photographs of annotated pages in the Commonwealth brochure. I mechanically marked down the places where there was enjambment or a metaphor or an off-rhyme. But it felt as robotic as those rules I'd learned in social skills class. Sophomore year, I had Miss Saporin for English. Though the pages of my books were Commonwealth brochure caliber, it was not enough. I began to meet with her. Each week, I stepped out of the sweaty freshman cubby area and into Miss Saporin's sunny, perfume-scented office. Surrounded by shelves of books and muted posters of French artwork, we read, discussed, and thought. Literature is about humanity and human emotions, she said. Let your writing be more spontaneous. It wasn't until my junior year that I really got it. In advance of the English mid-year exam, we were given a question on the final passage of Joyce's The Dead. This was the first time at Commonwealth that I found myself unable to figure out where to begin with an assignment. The next morning, surrounded by sharpened pencils, a magic exam surge took over me. While writing, my understanding deepened. I concluded Gabriel is initially isolated because he is stuck within a head of self-doubt. By contrast, at the story's close, Gabriel is resolved to a reality of shared isolation with all of Ireland. A softening coat of snow atop Ireland symbolized the shared isolation. The next day, I sat in my English classroom, watching out the window as snow dusted Boston's brownstones, discussing this passage. The power of Joyce's snow was acting on us, too. We were isolated thinkers coming together. I also took fiction writing during junior year. As I wrote, I began to realize that close reading could be applied to the individuals, too. Each day, we were to write in a journal, the creepy person journal, as Ms. Bayless called it. We could record strange conversations we'd overheard, describe an unusual outfit we'd sighted, or a touching moment between friends that we'd witnessed. I began paying attention to people on the tee. I listened to someone rehashing their time at a retirement party, marveling at how only 3 of their 5 coworkers had died. I watched someone's face transform in the space of 5 minutes as they applied their makeup. I listened as a woman broke down on the phone with her mother about a bad exam. Close reading had convinced me that people are interesting. Even more so if you look at the nuance, the gray areas. As my obsession with Commonwealth brochure annotation waned, so too did my dependence on social rules. I was tempted to talk to people, to ask questions, to try out some unexpected behaviors, simply because people are so interesting. I began to go to Boloco on Friday afternoons and talk to people at home, although the mode of communication had switched from Gmail chat to texting. I started off talking about small things, the Spanish homework or a funny announcement. Somehow it would come out that someone had a great passion for watching videos of pimple popping on YouTube, or I would ask, while doing my physics homework, if dog ears could be explained by relativity. I played card games on the top of Machu Picchu with people I had hardly talked to before. We passed the clay to each other on the Dartmouth stairs and waited together in the long line on Free Cone Day. In this way, we built up trust and began talking about bigger things. I became fascinated with how differently people's mind works. Maria lives in the realm of the rational and the logical. Her mind functions mathematically. Ian probes deeper, asks questions and questions everything. His mind works philosophically. Sarah takes on the big picture. Her mind works historically. Whether we are talking about the next English essay or the meaning of life, these differences make discussions richer. That's one thing I love about Commonwealth. Since it's so small, we are forced to meet people who are different than us, who we might not otherwise seek out. This year, our grade debated taking our senior picture at the playground where we took it our freshman year. We thought it would be so funny if we arranged ourselves exactly as we were in that picture from 3 years ago. Yes, I no longer wear glasses or braces, and I brush my hair now, but these two pictures would capture how much has changed over our time here. We formed relationships we never expected to form, had conversations we never imagined having, and we've close read each other.